Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another rendition of Kingdom's Evolution. Your host, Joe Finn, and we just got, we heard possibly great news that we might be getting back on YouTube, Channel 1. We were kicked off due to COVID, quote unquote, misinformation, and probably about January 6th and the stolen election by Joe Biden and the government that helped him steal it. So YouTube kicked us off for for various reasons, and they're saying that they're going to put on that. Was it 2 million channels are going to go back up on YouTube? 2 million channels, and we're hoping that Kingdom's Evolution will be one of them. I think we're going to apply. We applied twice to get back on, and we're going to apply once again to get back on YouTube. All right, title of today's show: Tylenol, the new Kool-Aid. And I wrote a Facebook post on this. And we're praying for all those women and pregnant women, especially pregnant women, who put their lives for no reason, for no godly reason, after the government comes out and says, hey, if you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. And for some reason, and this is the reason I posted on Facebook, pregnant women all across our country decided to take Tylenol in protest. Can you think about that? And I have to go back 25 years when when we were blessed with my wife being pregnant. I have to go back 25 years. But 25 years ago, she didn't take Tylenol, she didn't take ibuprofen. That poor woman suffered through a lot of pain. And we didn't have CBD then. I think CBD was probably still illegal. So we didn't have Blue Key CBD to ease her suffering or ease her pain. And that woman bore the pain because we knew 25 years ago that baby is precious, and that when it's developing, anything the mom takes, the baby takes. So these same women, I don't want to guarantee it, but I promise you these same women weren't drinking alcohol while they were pregnant. Right? So they cared enough and understood enough about protecting their baby that they weren't drinking alcohol while they were pregnant. We go back and interview them, but I've been praying for them all. I've been praying for them this morning, and I'll continue to pray for them and their babies. But what would possess a human being pregnant with another human life in their body after being told this non-natural ingredient is dangerous for them and their baby? What would possess them to actually actively consume it? What would possess them? And I'm going to make the argument today like I did on my Facebook post. The only thing I can think of is a cult. That's the only thing I can think of. The Democratic Party has become a cult. They don't have a charismatic leader They're all trying. Gavin Newsom's trying by telling everybody to kill ICE agents. Gavin Newsom's trying, and maybe I put that in the wrong word, but they're all trying to be that cult leader by vilifying ICE. So it didn't work vilifying Trump, right? So, they missed with Trump. They didn't miss with Charlie Kirk. And they called him a Nazi and a racist and a homophobe. He telling everybody that there's only two sexes when there are only two sexes. It's really simple stuff. And he boiled it down in better words than I could ever tell you. But genetically, there's only two sexes. XX and XY. That's it. You're either a boy or you're a girl. There is no in between. There are no furries. And they killed Charlie for speaking the truth, not being mean about it. He didn't say go out and hurt people that say there's something other than a boy or a girl. He didn't say go out and demonize them or belittle them or attack them. He just said, I'm not going to speak a falsehood. I'm not going to call you by something that you're not. And that was enough. That was enough for the transgender community to kill him. So I want to stick on the mentality of a cult. And maybe cult's the wrong word definitively, because there is no charismatic leader to the Democrat Party. Gavin Newsom is trying to be their cult leader. But in Jonestown, probably before your time, there was a leader that had all of his cult members believing, I don't even remember, it's kind of vague, I should have read up on it, but I believe he had all his cult members believing that the end of the world was coming and they should all drink Kool-Aid. And the Kool-Aid was laced with poison and it would kill them. And I think 200, I did look at it real quickly, 200 members of the cult in Jonestown died from drinking that Kool-Aid. And they willingly drank the Kool-Aid. They probably thought something good was going to happen to them by drinking Kool-Aid, laced with deadly poison. So, did these women think something positive, like they were going to meet their maker, go to heaven? So what is the mindset after people tell you Tylenol is dangerous as hell to drink when you're pregnant? And I watched one of the doctors talk about why. It had to do with glutathione, that when you're pregnant, your glutathione levels are already dangerously low, and that when you take Tylenol, it destroys your glutathione levels even more, and hence pregnant women are at greater risk of biological failure when they take Tylenol. And I think I even read a post from Tylenol itself in 2017 saying pregnant women should not take Tylenol. Tylenol itself said this many, many years ago. So what demon would possess women to take Tylenol, pregnant women, to take Tylenol? And the only thing, like I said, the only thing I can think of is a cult. Did the cult leaders tell them to take Tylenol? Did they get messaging? Who is the ringleader, the organizer that decided pregnant women should consume alcohol in protest? Was there any media outlets? CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC? I guess I'll have to go back through and see which media outlets protested, screamed the loudest, posted about how terrible it was that the government came out and said pregnant women should not take Tylenol? Or did these cult members, because Donald Trump mentioned it, took credit for it, RFK Jr. took credit for it, did these cult members come out and decide that they would risk everything? And I think they also came out and said Tylenol may cause autism in babies. So not only was it the glutathione levels, the actual biological fact, but it was Trump and RFK Jr. coming out and saying the studies are showing that autism, that there is probably some link between autism in children and consuming Tylenol. So these women were bound and determined to defy science in the name of their cult. And so they not just consumed a little bit of Tylenol, but some of them consumed a lot of Tylenol. But it probably didn't take much, because it eats glutathione, and when you're pregnant, your glutathione is already being well consumed. Think about this with me. It has to be a mental illness, right? It has to be a mental illness. So what would cause a mental illness to override every single warning factor that you as a mother and the husbands and the fathers that allowed this to occur? What is going on in their minds that they would actively, like, if you tried to force somebody to take Tylenol that's pregnant, it would be a beatdown. It would be no. I mean, you'd have to physically restrain them and force them to take Tylenol, or tell them it's not Tylenol. Tell them it's something else. I mean, what would a rational human being do? You're a pregnant woman. I come to you. I tell you that Tylenol not only does it destroy the glutathione levels when you take it, but that there's a probability that it causes autism, and that perhaps that factor or other factors helps cause autism in children. What would I have to do to you to make you consume Tylenol? I mean, you would have to hold a gun to my head and tell me, if you don't take the Tylenol, I'm going to kill you. That would be it. That'd be it. That would be it. You'd have to threaten me with death, immediate death, in order for me, or deceive me by saying it's not Tylenol, poison me. That would be the only way I'd consume Tylenol, or my wife would consume Tylenol when she was pregnant. That would be it. Say it was something else, or put a gun to our heads. These women consumed Tylenol willingly, sought it out, and willingly consumed it. It goes against every self-survival instinct that any human being has, that any mother has. So what level? So why? So why did so many pregnant women in America, and probably all over the world, consume Tylenol and put their lives at risk and their babies' lives at risk? Why? Well, it has to be pure hatred for Donald J. Trump. That's it. Because they love themselves. They love their babies. only pure hatred. I'm just trying to think of the mental strength of the overriding emotional factor that has to come into play to override your self-survival instinct. And in all honesty, I can't think of one. I can't think of any. Can you think of any? Oh, here, this is poison. Drink it so you and your baby can be more at risk of autism and death. Drink it. Sure, I'll drink it. I'll drink it all day long. That's a mental illness, is it not? Is that not a mental illness? And I think what has occurred is this dystopia, this latching on to the lies of the cult, the Democratic Party, the cult, that you've so ingrained your spirit, your soul, your mind, everything to this indoctrination of the cult, the Democratic Party, that you can't, it is everything that you are, and you can't let it go. You cannot let it go. It overrides your self-survival. That is insane. Is that not insane? That your self-survival, like, let's just say you disagreed that Tylenol caused autism in babies, that you disagreed with the science, that Tylenol was dangerous for glutathione levels, that Tylenol itself said. What would make you actively consume it? What would make you go out and seek to show everybody that you as a pregnant woman are going to put your life and your baby's life at risk for what? What? What have they gained? What did they gain? What was the benefit? What was the win? Like, you're going to put all these things at risk. You're going to put all these things at risk for what? They've told you it can cause autism. They've told you it's terribly unhealthy for a pregnant woman. They're telling you not to take it. So you could say they're full of shit. You could disagree with them. Your doctor could disagree with them. Your nurse could disagree with them. And maybe there's some women that were in a fever pitch, that were suffering a 105 fever and were going to die. And the only thing to lower their fever they thought was Tylenol. That was not the case. That was not why these women consumed Tylenol. What other reason? And just let's think this through, because I want to understand this cult that is causing young people to take lives like Charlie Kirk's life. I want to try to understand what is happening with their cult, because this death cult is got a wicked hold on people we care and love about. And it's so wicked that not only will they kill people that disagree with them, like Charlie Kirk and others, but they'll kill people that just, like the guy at the ICE facility. They're willing to kill people that disagree with them, and for no benefit, for no gain, for nothing, they would drink Tylenol after they were just told it can be deadly, it can cause autism if you're pregnant. One thought would be from a very small child, very small, first education, first kindergarten, first pre-K, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, every year of their life, parents agreeing with it, And I'll give you an example. Climate change. I remember at St. James the Greater School, the teachers there taught climate change like it was fact. Like it was fact. The Pope Leo, climate change is a fact. Our world's going to end if we don't stop carbon use. All total bullshit. The difference with our children versus other children at St. James, and I tried to stop them from teaching it, but it was in the curriculum. It was in you couldn't stop because the teachers believed it. So you could tell them like that's bullshit, but the teachers believed it. It was in their school book. So it was hard to overcome that indoctrination into global climate change. But when our kids left school, they had no doubt that the whole climate change indoctrination was a hoax, was a sad, tragic hoax put on the American people by Islamists that had a lot of oil, by the Chinese communists that wanted to sell us solar power, by American politicians that were making money, that didn't own oil wells, that were making money by taking tax dollars for quote-unquote climate change, and were getting kickbacks and paybacks from Chinese and from the Islamists who did not, and I say Islamists, because who owns the oil? Who owns the oil? The Islamists do. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Iraq, Iran, they had all the oil. So by us demonizing our oil, by Americans demonizing carbon, we didn't find our oil. We didn't drill for our oil. We didn't exploit our oil. We didn't use our oil. We imported theirs. And they kept hitting our oil industry with regulation after regulation after regulation. Bad, 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 bad. You're bad if you drive an oil car. You're bad if you drill for oil. You're bad. You're a bad person if you're an oil captain of industry. Bad, 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 bad. Since kindergarten, you've been fed this crap. Even in Catholic schools, they were fed this crap. The Pope came out and said it. It must be true. Pope Leo. Prayers for Pope Leo. I'm saying that, no. It was Pope Francis. I'm getting it wrong. I'm getting my popes wrong. Pope Francis. Pope Francis was the one that came out and said carbon's bad. Pope Francis is the one that turned our Chinese priests over to the Communist Party. Pope Francis was a South American pope, and he was a communist. I'm sorry. But communism and Christianity are not compatible. They just don't work together. Christianity is about freedom, about civilization, about growing the individual spirit closer to Jesus Christ. And communism is about taking that individual spirit and putting it into the collective. And communism doesn't work for anybody, anywhere, anything. It doesn't, except for the tyrants and thugs that get to kill Christians and kill Jews. That's the only people that communism works for. It doesn't work for the poor. It doesn't make their lives better. It's a crap philosophy of economics. It's a crap philosophy of politics. It's a crap philosophy. 100% crap. Just like global climate change. Crap. 100% crap. But they paid off the universities. They paid off the politicians. They paid them a lot of money. And so slowly but surely, they indoctrinated an entire generation, probably 2 generations. 20 years of every day being taught that global climate change, and this is, I'm going to get to this. I'll tell you where this is going because it's important. 20 years, 30 years, your whole life, oil bad, global climate change, kill, seas rising, people die. you're a killer if you drive a gas car. Do you remember this shit? It was just like 4 years ago. It was a fact under Biden. If Trump hadn't been reelected, it would have been 100 times worse. They would have, the drill baby drill is the Republicans. If you would have voted for a Democrat, if you would have voted Kamala Harris in, they would have destroyed our oil and gas industry. Destroyed it. The only thing that saved our country was Donald J. Trump getting elected and your fellow Americans that voted for him. And I give kudos, I give great praise, and we'll talk about this in a minute. But I want to follow up on this line of thought with the Tylenol. Because this is what I think is what made these women consume Tylenol. So the communists and the globalists have sewn these threads in our children. Since they were weaned off the mother's teat, every school, every social outing, and they still teach us crap in some schools. They still teach it probably in some public schools until the students rise up and say, it's crap. Quit teaching us this crap. Let's learn something that's important. Let's learn how to drill for oil. Let's learn how to make money in oil, because oil is good. Cheap energy is good. It lets me get from point A to point B less expensively. It lets my goods come to market less expensively. It's the best power source there is. It's not pollution. It burns up and turns into carbon dioxide, which feeds the trees, which feeds, it's a good cycle. It's not a poisonous cycle. Drilling into Mother Earth, if we can find a better way, great. Someday maybe we will. And maybe LifeWave will figure that out. Because we do have a brilliant guy in LifeWave with David Schmidt, and he's figuring out a lot of things. Maybe someday we'll get there. We're not there today. When we get there, we can stop using oil. Until then, drill, baby, drill. Oil is not bad. People that use oil is not bad. People that are captains of the oil and gas industry that make a lot of money, not bad. People that work on the rigs that make a lot of money, not bad people. The bad people are the people that use the government to destroy the oil and gas industry so they can put up windmills that look terrible, kill birds, and don't do jack shit for energy. Solar powers. Again, eventually they may get there. Eventually it may. But eventually, when it gets there and it can compete without government grants and government money, when it gets there without the communist Chinese buying off our politicians and taking our tax dollars so that you get free solar because your government is taxing somebody else to get you free solar, that's bullshit. Or discounted solar or whatever, and then sending that money to the Chinese. It's bullshit. How they mine for the solar power is for the lithium in Africa is bullshit. What they do with these chemicals after they're no longer producing power is bullshit. Total environmental disaster. But it's what the environmentalists want, because the environmentalists are being paid. The environmentalists are being paid by the Chinese and the Islamists to destroy our oil industry. So bear with me. I'm going to get there. I know I'm taking a minute to get there, but I want you to understand the full breadth of all the cannons, all the machine guns, all the nuclear weapons that were turned on our society, on our children, to indoctrinate them into the global climate change bullshit. It's their whole lives they've been fed this bullshit, right? Now, those of us that have known it was bullshit and understood it was bullshit, but didn't have a voice because YouTube and Facebook and all these other people would kick you off, you'd lose your job. These threads that have been sewn into their being, their very being, since they were toddlers, kindergartners, about global warming, are now, they're coming undone. Their identity, which is what their teachers told them, what their parents told them, everything that they are, that they believed, that they fought for. Oil is bad. Ooh, oil's not bad. Oil's not bad. Oil's not bad. It's like the Wizard of Oz. The Wicked Witch is dead. Only we all understood that to be good. We all understood that to be good, right? The Wicked Witch is dead. But think about it, if it's the Wicked Witch was your oil, and it's not dead. It's the Wicked Witch was never the Wicked Witch. It ends up that the Wicked Witch of oil was actually that which made for a better life, a lesser expensive life, a more generous life, a more successful life, a more prosperous life for everybody. And your leaders, your teachers, your parents are the ones that told you the Wicked Witch was bad. How does that impact you? How does that affect you? Your identity, who you are, what you are. So all these people have lied to me. The Pope, you're a Catholic, and the Pope lied to you. And you know they lied to you. You know that in your heart, you know all these people lied to you. That you cared about, that you loved, that you respected, that you learned from, that you knew cared about you, that they thought they were being honest. It's what they believed. But they lied to you. They lied to you, and they were wrong. And people said they were wrong the whole time, but they believed they were right, but they were wrong. And you believe them. So now you're wrong. What does that do to you as a human being? To be wrong like that. To be so wrong. To be so wrong about something so simple. And have so many people tell you that you were right. That had power, that had knowledge, that were older, that were wiser. To know how wrong those people that you respected, that you admired, that you loved, how wrong those people were about oil. It's got to make you it's got to touch your very soul. It's got to touch your very soul, because if they were so wrong about oil, so wrong about climate change, what else are they wrong about? What else has my whole life been bullshit about? If they were wrong about oil and climate change, and they all lied, all these university professors did all these studies, and it's all bullshit. And they all fed me the bullshit, and I ate the bullshit, and I was the bullshit. I guess there's a couple ways to react to it. I'm trying to think of in my own life where the people I loved and trusted fed me bullshit, and I believed them, and I learned differently, and I lost respect for them, and I lost part of me because they were so wrong. And I guess if I had to go back, I'll tell you where I'll tell you where I think, if I go back to my childhood, I'll tell you where I think it was. 1962. or 65. Roe versus Wade. My parents were never pro-abortion. Never. They never celebrated Roe versus Wade. They never did. But when Roe versus Wade became part of our culture, they never said it shouldn't be. They never said this is wrong. And if I had to go back to a point in time where I could have used that, and my parents lived it. They lived Roe versus Wade being wrong. They lived it. 6 children. 6 children. 6 children. I guess I should turn my phone off. That would help. 6 children. So my parents lived Roe versus Wade being wrong. But they didn't inculcate in us how wrong Roe versus Wade was. And if I had to go back to a point in time where I'd go back in time and ask for a better understanding of what's important in life, I would go back to that time. And that would have been a time that I would have begged my parents, in all the joyfulness of youth, in all the terrible decisions being made in the hormonal times of teenage years, that would have been the time where I would have begged Charlie Kirk. I would have begged for Charlie Kirk to have lived. What a brilliant man. I call him St. Charlie. I'm going to call him St. Charlie now from now on. Because a whole generation now is being exposed to the truth about abortion. And St. Charlie was the word. And he does it so eloquently, so flawlessly, so beautifully, that they had to put a bullet in his neck to stop him from touching an entire generation and destroying the abortion industry in America. And that's another thing that's so global climate change, abortion. Charlie Kirk, all these threads of this mindset just coming undone. All these people you trusted, all these people you loved are full of shit. They're wrong about everything. They're not just wrong about global climate change. They're wrong about abortion. They're dead wrong about abortion. They're dead wrong about. So what else are they dead wrong? They're dead wrong about Hunter Biden's laptop, and they knew Hunter Biden's laptop was Hunter Biden's laptop, but they were somehow dead wrong about it. They're wrong, dead wrong about January 6th. Dead wrong. Yeah, 240 FBI agents were in the January 6th protest. 240. We don't know if there were any there. We don't think there were any. 240. Augmenting, agitating. What else were they wrong about? So Donald Trump has basically been right about everything. And what did they try to do to Donald Trump? They tried to put a bullet in his head. They tried to imprison him. They tried to financially ruin him. So the one person that appears to be right about everything, the people that were wrong about everything, have tried to kill, have tried to put in prison, have tried to financially destroy. And the other person that was right about everything, Charlie Kirk, they did kill. So the people that were wrong about everything oil, global climate change, abortion. Those people, the economy, cheap goods to China, exporting all our jobs and manufacturing out of our country. The people that were wrong about everything, they violently lash out at the people that appear to be right about everything. Well, that doesn't seem like you'd think a rational response to people that are right about everything would be, thank you. That would be a rational response. A rational response to somebody that shows you're wrong about something and they are right and shows you logically how they're right and you're wrong would just be a simple thank you. I see it now. I get it. But that's a rational response. But when you live the lies, when you've lived in the lies your whole life, and everybody that you love, respect, teachers, parents, have told you the lie is the truth. Oil bad. Climate change real. How do you take that fiber of who you are and what you believe? How do you unthread that out of your persona, out of your body, out of yourself? Because that means you're wrong about everything. That means you weren't intelligent enough to figure out that the Islamists and the communists were telling you oil is bad. But listen, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. There's millions of you. There's millions of you that are suffering right now the same fate of being wrong about freaking everything. Everything. But it's not your fault. Do you understand? It's not your fault that you're wrong about everything. It's not. It's not. You've been indoctrinated since you were a child. You've been told that you're right, that you can't be wrong, that they know the truth, that the people that are telling you the truth are bad. Like oil is bad. Trump, bad. Charlie Kirk, bad. Don't listen to what he has to say. Don't listen to him. Don't watch his videos. Don't listen to Charlie Kirk because he's bad. He might say something that resonates logically and will debunk our lies. So don't watch Charlie Kirk. Don't shout him down so you can't hear what he has to say. Take him off YouTube. COVID jab bad. Take Joe Finn off YouTube. Take him off all the social media posts. Don't listen to what he has to say. It's bad. It's disinformation. He's lying. The local news media didn't do one story, not one frickin' story on the risk of taking the COVID jab. Not one fucking story. They knew young men were dying. And they did not do one story on young men dying from the COVID jab. So don't feel bad. You should not feel bad that you believe their lies. You should not feel bad. It's disappointing that so many people lied to you about so many things. It's terrible. It's costly. It's cost us untold treasure. And there's still people giving their babies and their young children the COVID jab. Stop it. They're lying to you. They're making money off your misery. Stop taking mRNA jabs altogether. I don't care how old you are. Stop it. Telling your body, your healthy cells, to make COVID spike proteins is not how you get better, is not how you protect yourself from COVID spike proteins, telling your body to make them. Stop. They're lying. It's not true. I beg you, you people that are taking the COVID jabs, the mRNA jabs, are just as bad as the pregnant women taking the Tylenol. Do you not understand? You are the Tylenol taker. The pregnant women that are taking Tylenol, you people that are taking the mRNA COVID jabs, you are them. Stop. Stop. Nattokinase, natural despiker of the body. Get on it. Nattokinase, it's made out of soy, a soy byproduct. The Japanese take it all the time. Great supplement. It was called the, what was it called? I'm going to think about it. The golden, oh my gosh, the miracle of despiking your body. Nattokinase, natural. Don't need a doctor for it. Go online, $15 a bottle for a 30-day supply. Despike your body with nattokinase. Our friends and neighbors are having their whole truths ripped out of them, thread by thread by thread. COVID jabs, oil bad, COVID jabs good, oil bad, Hunter Biden's laptop Russia disinformation. Thread by thread by thread, they're having their identities ripped out of who they are. They don't know who they are anymore. I mean, if you had everything that you believed ripped out of you, who the hell would you be? Socialism, Marxism, good. My college professor told me. No, it's not good. It's terrible. It's terrible. You're a free man. What the hell are you doing? No one's pointing a gun to your head telling you to be a communist. You're doing it of free will. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Stop. These people that are feeding you these lies, just pull the threads out one by one by one. Just pull them out of who you are. Pull them out. If you're not a Christian, you're a fool. Jesus Christ asks almost nothing of you to be a Christian. Jesus Christ is the easiest God to follow. I mean, it's like he asks you to go to church on Sunday, to read the Bible. Jesus Christ is the easiest God to follow. He doesn't want you to hate, doesn't want you to kill, love your neighbor, love your enemy. I mean, what the heaven is wrong with you that you don't want to believe Jesus Christ is God? Really, what's wrong with you? You'll believe oil is bad, you believe abortion is good, but you won't believe Jesus Christ is God? That's it's like there's no click in your brain, brother. There's no click in your brain. Jesus Christ doesn't want anything from you except to know you as the creator of the universe. You're made in God's image, right? You're made in God's image because nobody else can speak. Nobody else can know beauty. Nobody else can know love like we know love. Nobody else can reason. No other being in the universe, the rocks can't think. The water can't think. There's no other being in the universe that can communicate with the creator of the universe. So why do you think it is that we can communicate with the creator of the universe and no other thing in the universe can communicate with the creator? Tick tock, because we are made in the image of God. Pretty simple shit. We're made in the image of God, therefore, ergo, we can communicate with God based on what we see, what we do, what we know, what we learn. And we can communicate with God because God became man in Jesus Christ. And so all you have to do is love Jesus Christ and boom, you can know God for all eternity. Now that's a value proposition, right? Ask Jesus to come into your life, and the next thing you know, you've opened a door for your soul, for your spirit, for all eternity. And what was the cost? What was the cost? You'll believe oil is bad. You'll believe abortion is good. What's the benefit there, kids? But you'll believe it. You know it's true. No benefit. No benefit other than higher gas prices and no little children running around having fun with you. But you'll believe that. But you won't believe in believing in Jesus Christ as God became man to know eternal joy. Oh my gosh, is my hour up? Holy cow. Guys, sow the fibers back in your body with the love of Jesus Christ. That's where it is. That's how you do it. Watch St. Charlie. Watch St. Charlie videos. Get your life right with Christ. Amen, I say unto you. Get your life right with Christ. Charlie, I read the Bible every day now, man. I miss you. You were a saint unto us. I wish I would have known you when I was a young man because I would have lived a much better, happier life. God bless you one and all. Have a great weekend. And thank God for my little babies. And don't drink the Tylenol. Don't drink the Tylenol. All right. And I need to figure out how to get my beeper back on here. All right, everybody. We're going to go out with a little The Music Never Stopped by the Grateful Dead.
There's mosquitoes on the river, fish are rising up like